Right now, there are hundreds of thousands of people just like you, smart, qualified, ready to work, who will not get an H-1B visa this year. Not because they aren't good enough, but because they didn't understand how the system actually works. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the entire H-1B process for 2026, step by step, no legal jargon, no confusion. And at the end, I'll show you exactly which door you should walk through next based on your situation. Stay with me. This could be the most important video you watch this year. Alright, let's start at the very beginning. What is the H-1B visa? The H-1B is a temporary work visa that lets U.S. employers hire foreign workers in what's called a specialty occupation. That's just a fancy way of saying a job that normally requires at least a bachelor's degree in a specific field. Think software engineers, financial analysts, architects, data scientists, accountants, professional roles. Here's the key thing most people miss: you don't apply for the H-1B. Your employer does. This is an employer-sponsored visa. You cannot just fill out a form and send it in yourself. You need a U.S. company willing to sponsor you, willing to do the paperwork, and willing to pay the fees. We'll talk about exactly what that involves in a few minutes. The H-1B lets you work in the U.S. for up to 3 years initially, and it can be extended to a total of 6 years. After that, things get more complicated, but that's a topic for another video. So who actually qualifies? Let's break down the requirements. Number 1, you need at least a U.S. bachelor's degree or its foreign equivalent in a field directly related to the job. If you have a degree in English literature and you're applying for a software engineering role, that's going to be a problem. Number 2, the job itself must qualify as a specialty occupation. The employer has to prove that the position genuinely requires specialized knowledge and a relevant degree. Number 3, there must be a valid employer-employee relationship. The company has to have the ability to hire, pay, supervise, and, yes, fire you. This matters more than people think. Number 4, the employer must pay you the prevailing wage. That means they can't bring you in and pay you less than what American workers in similar roles and locations earn. The Department of Labor sets these wage levels. If you're nodding along and thinking, okay, I check those boxes, great. Let's talk about the part that scares everyone. The H-1B lottery. This is where dreams get made or crushed, and I want you to understand exactly how it works in 2026. Every fiscal year, the U.S. government caps the H-1B at 85,000 new visas. That breaks down to 65,000 for the regular cap and an additional 20,000 reserved for people who hold a U.S. master's degree or higher. If you have an advanced degree from a U.S. university, you essentially get 2 chances, one shot at the 20,000 pool and, if not selected there, another shot at the general 65,000 pool. Now here's the process. In March 2026, employers submit electronic registrations through USCIS, that's United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. Each registration costs $10 and includes basic information about the employer and the worker. Then USCIS runs a random lottery to select which registrations move forward. In recent years, USCIS implemented a beneficiary-centric selection system. What does that mean in plain English? It means one person equals one entry. In the past, people would have multiple employers register for them, giving them multiple lottery entries. That loophole is now closed. Whether one company or 5 companies register you, you get one chance in the lottery. So what are your actual odds? Let's be honest about this. In recent cycles, somewhere around 400,000 to 500,000 unique beneficiaries have been registered for 85,000 slots. If we do the rough math, that puts your chances somewhere around 20 to 25% in any given year. If you have a U.S. master's degree, your odds are somewhat better, maybe closer to 30%, because of that additional 20,000 pool. Those aren't great odds, I know. But here's the thing, they're not zero. And there are things you can do to strengthen your overall position, which I'll cover at the end in our 3-door framework. Let's talk documents and employer sponsorship. This is where the rubber meets the road, and honestly, where a lot of applications fall apart. Here's what needs to happen, step by step. First, before anything else, the employer files a labor condition application, called an LCA, with the Department of Labor. This document basically says, we're going to pay this worker the prevailing wage and we're not displacing American workers. The LCA usually gets approved within 7 to 10 business days. Once the LCA is certified and if the registration is selected in the lottery, the employer files the actual H-1B petition, Form I-129, with USCIS. This is the big one. Here's what you'll need for that filing. From your side, a copy of your passport, your degree certificates and transcripts, an educational credential evaluation if your degree is from outside the US, your resume or CV, any professional certifications, and evidence of your current legal status if you're already in the US, like your OPT card or current visa. From the employer's side, a detailed support letter explaining the job and why it requires your specific qualifications, the certified LCA, proof the company can pay the offered wage like tax returns or audited financial statements, and information about the company itself. The total government filing fees alone can range from around $2,000 to over $10,000 depending on the size of the company and whether they choose premium processing. And remember, by law, the employer must pay most of these fees, not you. Alright, let's map out the full timeline so you know exactly what to expect in 2026. January to February 2026, this is when you and your employer should be getting everything organized. Finding an immigration attorney, gathering documents, making decisions. Early March 2026, the electronic registration window opens. Your employer submits the $10 registration. Late March to early April 2026, USCIS runs the lottery and notifies selected registrations. You'll know within a few weeks if you were picked. April 1st through June 30th, 2026, if selected, your employer has 90 days to file the full H-1B petition. If you use regular processing, you could wait 3 to 6 months for a decision. If your employer pays for premium processing, which costs an additional fee, USCIS guarantees an initial response within 15 business days. October 1st, 2026, this is the earliest your H-1B status can actually begin. Even if you're approved in May, you can't start working on H-1B status until October 1st of that fiscal year. So from registration to actually starting work, you're looking at roughly 6 to 7 months minimum. Immigration is a patience game. Now, here's the question I get asked more than any other: what if I don't get selected in the lottery? First, take a breath. Not getting selected is not the end of your American dream. Not even close. Here are real alternatives. Option 1, if you're on OPT, which stands for Optional Practical Training, you may be able to extend it. STEM graduates can get a 24-month extension, giving them up to 3 years of OPT total and multiple bites at the H-1B lottery. Option 2, cap-exempt H-1B positions. Did you know that universities, nonprofit research organizations, and government research institutions are exempt from the H-1B cap? That means no lottery. If you can find a qualifying employer, you can file anytime. Option 3, the O-1 visa for individuals with extraordinary ability or achievement. This is harder to get, but there's no cap and no lottery. Option 4, the L-1 visa if you work for a multinational company with offices abroad. You could work at the Foreign Office and transfer to the US. Option 5, explore the EB-2 NIW path, which stands for Employment-Based Second Preference, National Interest Waiver. In some cases, you can self-petition for a green card without even needing employer sponsorship. The point is, options exist. Don't let one lottery result define your journey. Okay, it's time for the 3-door framework. This is where I need you to be really honest with yourself about where you stand right now. Door number 1, the green door. You are eligible now. You walk through this door if you already have an employer willing to sponsor you, you have a qualifying degree, the job meets specialty occupation requirements, and the registration window for 2026 hasn't closed yet, or you've already been selected in the lottery. Your next step? Make sure your employer has a good immigration attorney. Get your documents organized now, not next week, now. If your employer hasn't started the LCA process, light a fire under them politely. Time is your most precious resource. Door number 2, the yellow door. You are close, but not quite there yet. This is you if you're still finishing your degree, or you have a degree but haven't found a sponsoring employer yet, or your current job doesn't clearly qualify as a specialty occupation. Your next step? Focus on what you can control. If you're still in school, consider whether a U.S. master's degree would improve your odds. Network aggressively with employers known to sponsor H-1Bs. Websites like myvisajobs.com publish lists of top H-1B sponsors. Build your professional profile so when the time comes, you're the candidate an employer wants to sponsor. Door number 3, the red door. This path is blocked for you right now, but alternatives exist. This is you if you don't have a qualifying degree and can't get one, you've been in the lottery multiple times without selection and your OPT is expiring, or your employer has told you they will not sponsor. Do not panic. Go back to the alternatives I just covered: CAP-exempt employers, O-1 visa, L-1 transfer, EB-2 NIW. Also consider this: some people go abroad, gain experience at a multinational company, and come back on an L-1 visa. Others pursue further education. The path may be longer, but it's still a path. Here's what I need you to do right now. Drop a comment below and tell me, are you door 1, door 2, or door 3? I read every single comment, and I'll do my best to point you toward the right resources. If you found this helpful, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we publish new immigration guides every single week. And if you want to understand the EB-2 NIW path I mentioned, which might honestly be a game changer for many of you, watch this video right here where I break down the entire process. Remember, the immigration system is complicated, but you don't have to be confused. I'll see you in the next one.